Welcome back to another video, guys. In this one we're going to talk about the Bushcraft Show. So thank you very much, guys, for joining me here once again today. In this video we're going to talk about the Bushcraft Show, which I attended 2 weekends ago now, the weekend of the 29th of the 29th of May. We're going to talk about my experience, the things I did, and a bit of a review on the show and things like that. So I want to start by talking about what the show is, because some of you might not know. So the Bushcraft Show is an event that is led by the Bushcraft magazine. It's the official company that leads the Bushcraft Show. It's an annual event that gets people from all over the country and abroad together in an area outdoors. There's market stalls where people are selling stuff, there's food, there's drinks, there's a main stage where various guest speakers talk, and there is a plethora of workshops and activities that you can attend. Now, I attended the Bushcraft Show back in 2021 at, I actually can't remember the name of the hall that it was at, I'll put it on screen. That was a very rushed show that was put together last minute because of various things. In particular, COVID had a big impact on that one. This time they had a lot longer to plan for it. This year's one, and so was last year's, but this year's one was held at Stanford Hall on the southeast side of Birmingham. Lovely location to be based in. Now, it's a weekend, so it was, the show started Saturday, finished Monday. We turned up on the Friday. I was camping in the woodland area. I'll flash a picture of the map up and highlight the woodland area where I was camping. There was also field camping as well. And then, of course, the main arena. Now, the show is great, and there was a good amount of stalls available this year. And if you're interested in the stuff that I bought from the show, check out the video up here or in the link in the description. Another video from today, it'll be out on the same day. If you're seeing this video, that video will be out. And I talked about the gear and stuff that I bought, but this video we're just going to talk about, it's just going to be talking. So, the show was really good. We turned up on Friday. It was a long drive for us, turned into about 13 to 14 hours for us to get down. We were obviously based here in the northeast of Scotland, so it was a long drive down, but super easy to actually get there. So that is one good thing that I want to say, is the choice of location. Stanford Hall was a really good location, really easily accessible both by the M6 and the M1, and then it was a short 10 minutes along some back roads to the hall itself. Got in, got set up, was lovely. A lot of people might have thought, oh, the woodland, oh, that would have been lovely. It was very cramped in the woodland, I will say that. By the time we turned up, which was the Friday evening, it took me a good 10-15 minutes at least to find a space where I could even pitch my hammock and tarp, and I'll throw up a picture of where I was camping or what I had set up. And then as the weekend progressed, it got busier and busier, and I mean, by Sunday you probably wouldn't have been able to find a pitch unless you were wanting to share with someone. Now, lots of good things were going on. There was, I don't know, over 50 different workshops I think actually available. Some of them, most of them paid, some of them were free. I took part in a couple of them. So the first one I took part in, which was on the Saturday, was a Becoming Track Aware workshop. And that workshop actually was about man tracking more than animal tracking, and learned some pretty interesting things on how to detect where people have interacted with the landscape, or being able to figure out, you know, things like which way a vehicle is going along a track even, and things like that. I won't go into too much detail. It was just an introductory workshop, that one. Did a stool carving workshop, so a green woodworking stool carving with Wild Way Bushcraft. I'll leave a link to them down below, and again I'll flash a picture of the end product that I came home with, which is actually a really nice stool. I did do some work at home since, but most of it was done there. Met some nice people in particular. Didn't meet many, but met a couple of people who I've met before. So you have Brian Trubshaw from Journeyman Handcrafts. I'll flash the picture up on screen. I talked about him in the other video from today as well. But yeah, lovely guy, great stall. Definitely go check out his wax canvas goods. Met Mike Pullen from TA Outdoors. Again, I've met him before, but met them both in 2021. Met them again. Didn't get a picture with Mike, but said hello nevertheless. And yeah, there was a couple of main stage shows or talks on. There was one kind of every hour or so for all 3 days actually. Listened to a couple of them. Some of them talking. One of the ones that I listened to was talking about setting up a bushcraft, or you know, the development of a company as a bushcraft school. So that was very interesting. Won't go into too much details, but it was a very good weekend. And the big guest, every year the Bushcraft Show has a big guest, someone who is well known, a TV presenter in terms of bushcraft or whatever, bushcraft survival and stuff. Kind of had two of them this year. There was Lofty Wiseman who was there. That was a good talk from him on the main stage. But they also had the man himself, Ray Mears, you know, one of the biggest kind of bushcraft heroes, or whatever you want to call it. Certainly someone that I look up to. And did two different things with him. So you could pay to do a smaller, more intimate almost session with him. So we did that. So he did a bunch of stuff in that. He talked through knife skills and stuff that you need, you know, that you don't need a massive knife. You can get away with quite a small knife. Talked about how to sharpen, how to set up a small sharpening stone to be very effective. And I'm not going to spoil things, but I'm just kind of talking about it. He did a really nice demonstration on how to cut a hole into a bit of wood without damaging your knife, and actually it was cutting either a square or a triangular hole, so it's something that I want to play around with. And then he spent quite a lot of time talking about different methods for suspending pots over fires. He talked about using withies, building tripods and things like that in the quickest and simplest and nicest ways we can. And the biggest thing that he tried to put across and that I took from that talk was about doing everything with finesse in the outdoors. So taking our time to do it right and do it properly the first time. He then went straight from that talk to the main stage to do a talk, which we also sat and watched. And the main stage talk was much more of an interview, and I don't necessarily... So one of the people that runs the Bushcraft Show, I've sadly forgotten his name off the top of my head. He sat with Ray on the main stage. He's known Ray, I think it was 16 years, they said. And he interviewed Ray, asking him a bunch of questions. Now, personally, I would have preferred if Ray had been let to talk as he felt he wanted to and come up with a talk. But nevertheless, it was very interesting. And some of the things that Ray said, things along the lines, he kind of agreed and backed up what is some big popular opinions within the bushcraft community, which is things like a lot of the videos on YouTube are rubbish. Things like the Dartmoor controversial situation that's going on, which I won't make a comment on, but the controversial situation in Dartmoor, how that, he said, is a disgrace, and that we should be getting more access to our wild spaces. Obviously, I'm in Scotland right now, I can go where I want, but in terms of England, it's very restricted. And it was just a very interesting talk, both of them, and I took a lot away from them that I'm going to be using and working on, and just, it was very nice for him to be there. And I had met, this was the third time I met him. Again, I'll flash a picture up, got his newest book with a signature, which is always nice. But I have met him before, both at the 2021 Bushcraft Show, but also a more local show actually a number of years ago. Overall, the show was very good, and it was very nice to get out and social and, you know, be in that community. To compare this one to last one in terms of myself, not in terms of the show itself. In terms of the show, it was better, but it's because they've had their usual year to plan it. In terms of myself, I would say it felt a lot better. I was a lot more comfortable and confident in being within the bushcraft community, because I think since then I've developed a lot. Developing the skills, developing the knowledge. But overall, it was a very good show. I would 100% recommend it if you haven't been before. Do bear in mind that the show is about it being a social gathering. So if you're going expecting it to be full of just learning stuff, or you're going to be expecting that it's hundreds of things to buy stuff from, it's not that. It is more of a social gathering of people and main stage talks and things like that, with a good amount of workshops thrown in. But overall it was, and I know I'm saying overall a lot, it was a good show, and I would recommend it. And I don't really have any criticisms. Potentially the woods is a little bit small for the number of people, but they're working with what they can get, so that's fair enough. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. So if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like down below, and if you're new, please do consider subscribing as well. Check out all the links in the description, leave a comment whilst you're down there, and bye for now.